Hi there. It's October the 1st, and time for a brand new session through Proverbs. This will be the 14th time I've gone through Proverbs. We're going back to the English Standard Version this month. The English Standard Version is a newer translation, but it is also another direct word for word translation, even more word for word than the King James. Okay. The New American Standard is one of the most direct, meaning that they don't change the words around, they don't change the prose to make it, to make it sound more eloquent, which a lot of them do to make it more understandable. But the English Standard doesn't do that. And I'm also keeping the 1599 Geneva Bible handy over here just because it's fun, and I've come to like that Bible. And we know the first 5 chapters are just preparing us for wisdom, okay? Why wisdom is valuable, why we should be after wisdom, what it takes to get wisdom, okay? Let's see. Real quick, I'm going to here. You just set something up here. Okay. James. Okay. Just setting things up here. All right. So, and there's a few things highlighted from last time. I'll just leave them in there. See if we can highlight more, right? So here we go. Proverbs 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity. To give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Let the wise hear and increase learning. Let the one who understands obtain guidance. To understand a proverb and a saying, the words of the wise and their riddles. Right? A riddle is just a question you don't know the answer to. Just dark sayings over here. Okay. Important, highlighted. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Okay? Fools despise wisdom and instruction. This is true. Okay. Before you start to gain wisdom, you must first fear the Lord. Okay? Fear the Lord. To fear the Lord does not mean to be afraid of him. It's like you would fear your parents, okay? You don't want to disappoint them. You're afraid of doing wrong, okay? It means your reverence, awe, respect, okay? Follow him. Okay? And about getting instruction, who can get instruction? That's why we open here. When we go to James in the New Testament, okay? If any of you, and this is James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach. I got that. All you have to do is ask, and it'll be given to you. Okay? But, caveat here, but let him ask in faith with no doubting. Okay? That's very important. Okay? Like all your prayers, you have to ask in faith and have absolutely no doubt. You can't use the word hope here. I hope I'll get wise. You can't. I know. I ask the Lord for wisdom. I know he will make me wise. Right? For the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. That. So if you want wisdom, just ask and they give it, but you have to ask in faith. Faith means knowing something's going to happen, not hoping, knowing. Okay? So we're going to ask the Lord for faith, and we're going to ask him for wisdom, who gives to all. All right? And we know we're going to say, I know that he's going to give it to me. I know that this will make me wiser than I was. Very important. Okay. That's why it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You have to have faith and not doubt. Okay. The enticement of sinners. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and forsake not your mother's teaching. For they are a graceful garland for your head and pendants for your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. Right? This is where discipline comes in. Right? And he's begging his children. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without reason. Like Sheol, let us swallow them alive, and whole, like those who go down to the pit. We shall find all precious goods. We shall fill our houses with plunder. Throw in your lot with us, and we will all have one purse. Horrible thing, huh? Evil, okay? And if you don't think your kids are enticed by this, you know the world is run by Satan, okay? And you have to scare them away from this, right? My son, do not walk in the way with them. Hold back your foot from their paths, for their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. For in vain is a net spread in the sight of any bird. Right? If your son knows these people, knows what they're going to do, they can't be trapped by it. Okay? Good stuff. But these men lie in wait for their own blood. They set an ambush for their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone who is greedy for unjust gain. It takes away the life of its possessors. Okay? You steal stuff, murder, rape, pillage, destroy. You are waiting for your own blood. Your own life will be required. Okay, on another note, the call of wisdom. Now, wisdom, it says, and he says she all over, okay? But we're going to start from the very beginning. And it says, if you look over here, wisdom cries aloud in the street. The 1599 Geneva, they got it right in the beginning, okay? And I must admit, I went through Proverbs 4 or 5 times before I made the connection, okay? How wise am I, right? This wisdom is the eternal Word of God. And who was the Word of God? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus, okay? Jesus is wisdom. So this whole thing, all of Proverbs can be about getting Jesus. Okay? If you think of it that way, it becomes totally different. Okay? Just for a side note, Solomon was the wisest man that ever lived. Okay? He asked for wisdom. He was giving wisdom. There was no one has ever been wiser than Solomon. And you ask, well, Jesus was wiser than Solomon, and he lived. You see, Jesus wasn't wiser than Solomon. Jesus was wisdom itself, okay? Jesus was all-knowing. He knew what was going to happen, right? He knew what happened in the past. He knew what was happening. He was God, so he was wisdom in itself, okay? Wisdom in itself is Jesus, is the Word of God. So let's read this now with that in mind, okay? Wisdom cries aloud on the street. In the market, she raises her voice. At the head of the noisy streets, she cries out. At the entrance of the city gate, she speaks. How long, O simple ones, will you love being simple? How long will scoffers delight in their scoffing and fools hate knowledge? If you turn at my reproof, says, behold, I will pour out my spirit to you. Okay? Jesus, God, Spirit. Okay? I will make my words known to you, because I have called you and you refuse to listen, have stretched out my hand and no one has heeded, because you have ignored all my counsel and would have none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when terror strikes you. When terror strikes you like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, then they will call me, but I will not answer. Then they will seek me diligently, but will not find me. Right? When the world ends and it's too late, then they'll say, Jesus, save me now. But it's too late. Okay. Because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, would have none of my counsel, and despised all my reproof. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their way, and have the fill of their own devices. Right? For the simple are killed by their turning away, and the complacency of fools destroys them. For whoever listens to me will dwell secure, and will be at ease without dread of disaster. You got that? Whoever listens to me, Jesus, wisdom, will dwell secure. I like that too. Right. That's right here. Jesus didn't do it. Okay. He calls. People don't answer. Okay. Jesus said, behold, I stand at the door and knock, but you don't answer the door. Same thing. So you got this Proverbs 1, and this whole preface setup will continue for about 5 chapters, but you can go over highlights, and highlight a lot. Now this is very important. We highlighted 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay. Notes over there either. I always look over at that $15.99 because sometimes they say things different. I have found differences. Okay. But we covered this. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Okay. Following, fearing, revere, awe, respect. Okay. And we covered in James how to get wisdom. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach. Okay, all. You got that? All without reproach. And it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting. For one who doubts is like a wave on the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He's a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. Double-minded. You like that? Ask the Lord for wisdom, and he'll give it to you. But anything you ask the Lord for, you must have absolutely no doubt that his will is going to be done. Right? And he will give it to you. It says he'll give it to you right there. Okay? Very important. No doubt. Okay. And we highlighted just because this all goes together. And this is the world today, okay? The world is like this. Commercials are like this. Internet's like this, right? Sinners enticing you. When sinners entice you, do not consent if they say, come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without reason. Like Sheol, let us swallow them alive. And you can see this more and more today this has always been around, but now you just look for the protesters and people looting stores and, breaking in and stealing stuff. Yeah. It's gotten so bad in California that they will not even prosecute these people unless they steal more than $950 worth of merchandise. Which means you could go into a store and walk out with a brand new $600 TV and they can't do anything about it. Okay? They have given up and given over to sin. Okay? It's a terrible thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, what was I? We'll fill our houses with plunder, throw in their lot among us, and we'll all have one purse. Right? Do not walk with them. Stay away from those people. Okay? And if you know these things, if you know what to look for in vain, and that is spread in the sight of any bird. If you see that it's a trap, you won't step into the trap. Right? And it says these people that do these things, they are lying in wait for their own blood. They set an ambush for their own lives, right? is you start stealing this stuff, and sooner or later, it's going to catch up with you. Okay? And we covered the call of wisdom. Okay, wisdom. It says over here, let this know. Wisdom is the eternal word of God. Wisdom is the eternal word of God. And the word of God is Jesus. Wisdom is Jesus. Right? Jesus was wisdom personified in itself. So, and these other people, if you don't, okay, because you ignored all my counsel and would have none of my reproof, I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when terror strikes you. When terror strikes you like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. And it will. Then they will call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but will not find me. Because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, would have none of my counsel, and despised all of my reproof. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their way, and have their fill of their own devices. For the simple and foolish are killed by their turning away, and the complacency of fools destroys them. Tomorrow, right? But whoever listens to me will dwell secure and be at ease without dread of disaster. So, there you go. That's Proverbs 1. Starting a whole new month. I like the English Standard is one of my favorite versions, and I found it to be one of the most accurate versions in keeping with the original Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic texts. So we'll enjoy that on the ESV. Get yourself a copy if you don't have one. It's a good Bible. Good to have around. So there you have it. Stay tuned later today. We are in the New Testament now and are through the Bible in a year. We'll do 275, I think. And today we're going to talk about the Nativity, the birth of Jesus. And it'll go to different, it's read, we're reading it in chronological order as the stories occurred. So it's going through history. So you'll read the Nativity in Luke, and then in Matthew, and then all the different books, and it'll keep the whole story together. And it's kind of cool the way it's turning out. So stay tuned for that. But till then, join me for another month of Proverbs, and we'll learn more and more and get wiser and wiser. You never can be all wise, but you can be wiser every day. Okay? See you tomorrow.